again. Anyway, I'll do it before increment. So if b is less than equal to 5, right? I go here, create my command. So if b is greater than 5, I say log info. So if you don't know the syntax, as I said, control space. Control space will take you to that. So these are all the possible available information on log. So log info. I am in if-elseif condition, right? Value of b is, I just put now b dot to string, right? I just put that. Next is else if b is less than equal to 7. Now you see, I am not putting b greater than 5 here. So I am just putting b is less than equal to 7. Is it acceptable? Right? So if b, because when this statement is getting executed, always b is, because that is the first condition I am checking. Always it goes to if, it will not get into else if, because it is getting executed. When I am putting else if, I don't have to say b is greater than equal to 5 or greater than 5. That is not required. Right? So that is generally you can avoid putting such statements over here. So always, so when you place your cursor, you can see which one you are covering here. So if you manually delete it, then you may have an issue. Right? So you can see now he is covering from here to here, which is, there is a mistake of you are not having one parenthesis. Right? So now ensure that log info in I am in if-elseif b should be supposed to be less than equal to 7 and b is, and b value is plus b dot to string. End of the line, semicolon is important. Now you have done else. Finally, I complete with the else statement. Right? Else statement. I copy this, paste it over here. So else. So this is else if. Bottom is else. So p is greater than 7. And d value is so and so. So this is else if else, if else if else. So all these are available. So if you are going into VB scripting, if and if is the statement start and statement end. Here the statement start is curly braces, statement end is curly braces. Each curly braces you have to ensure that you are opening a curly braces and closing a curly braces. So there are situations where if you have a single statement, you don't need a curly braces. Of course, these are all possible. Right now, for you to not to get confused, you always open a curly braces and close the curly braces. So that is very, very important. Now we just run it, see what happens. So I remove this unstatement. Now let the unstatement be there. So what I'll do is, instead of putting it as less than or equal to, I make it as greater than 10. So I'll run the script now. So we have made else if with conditions with logical operator as well. Right. If that is how the question is, from if it will print 5 times and else it has to print 5 times. So that is what they expected out of it. That means we don't have a missing loop, missing statement or missing condition. So the missing condition sometimes may be crucial. That is what I'm trying to just say. Right? So there is a possibility of missing condition becoming crucial. That is generally happens with the boundaries. So now if you see here, for loop is fine, while loop is fine, do loop is 1, I am less than equal to 5, my value is 1. So I am in if else, if condition value is b is 1 because that statement is also covered now. So I am in if else if, that means I am into the first if statement, not else if. 2, I am in less than equal to 5, my value is, that is the first if condition, if else. Second, I am in else if else if, condition value is 2, that is the first statement of if else if. 3, no issues. 4, no issues. 5, no issues. Now when you come to the 6, now you can see here, I am above 5, inside else loop, my current value of b is 6. I am in else if b is less than equal to 7 and current value of b is 6. Right? Now 7 is also getting executed. I am above 5 inside the else loop. That is one statement. Another statement, I am else if b less than equal to 7, b value is 7. That's perfect. Now when you go to the 8, you can see now I am in else statement, not else if now. So if is ignored, else if is ignored, else has come to. This is equivalent to the switch statements that you are talking about. So I am above 5 inside else loop. This is perfect. This is one statement. This is another statement. Right? So don't get confused that always this gets executed after that. So I came back to the script. This is one set of statements and this is another set of statements. So after completing the statement 1, I am completing the statement 2. This entire thing is statement 2. So any one of this line gets executed. Any one of the above 2 lines is getting executed. So this is what we are trying to convey here. The conditional statement is very, very important, very useful, very effective. And most of the mistakes, most of the complications happens because of this. So this is where the testers have to be very careful. So when you are going through a testing and application, when you are trying to code it in the automation testing, you need to ensure how the branches are covered inside your so-called application under test. Because today, all are managed with Ajax. When we are managing with Ajax, right, the value that you are giving, branching out your response, that means the request that you are going to do, or when you click on, say, for example, button with some values in the parameter, I will land up on one page. If the value is different, I land up on another page. The button click is same, but where I am landing is different. It's the same UI. I enter on one page. Based on my value, I enter it in a different page. Just for you to understand what I am trying to say, I'll go to the one of my application. It's a local host. Just to show you what I am trying to tell you. Right? I am just opening the page. So for example, based on user credentials, the landing page might be different. Based on so-called The data, my landing page can be different. So ultimately, what we are trying to say is the landing page depends on data set. So when my landing page is different, how I am going to branch it out in my functional testing? So that is the most important part. So now this is a sysadmin. When I'm going with an admin user, I may land up on a different page. In this case, for every user, the landing page over here, right, is same. That is, we call it as a global setting page. Oh, my battery. Thanks for reminding me. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, now this is my landing page. So this data over here changes. The company has certain privileges. This company can work with certain modules. The landing page of this page might differ. That is what I'm trying to tell you. The page that you see over here might vary based on the data that we give. So that means you are now looking for an object over here. So many objects are there. This object may not be visible for everybody. For certain companies, it will be a different guy. Right? So this is very important for everybody to understand. This is where the conditional statement plays a very important role. So is this, everything is, this module is accessible for this company, yes or no? If this module is not accessible, I need to manage it accordingly. If module is different for different guy, I need to manage it differently. So this area, why we are using conditional statements, right? So conditional statements are very important. Conditional statements with logical operators is more complex than conditional statements without a logical operator. That is a combination of data to be tested. So just a hint for you all, this is what we feel is most important in testing. As long as we are able to manage this, your testing can be rest assured testing is always effective. We are talking about effective testing. Fine. So we completed now looping, conditional statement. So there are other conditions you can always learn when the need arises. We don't have to learn everything on the day one. Based on your needs, learn it. It becomes effective. If you don't have a need, no need to learn. That's it. That is my policy. Now I am going to the most important concept called file up. Okay, before that, we can create some methods as well. I want to have like functions, small functions, which I want to repeat it again and again. So I can create my own functions. Let us do a simple addition or a subtraction or a multiplication. Let me create a function here. All the functions I am creating it before the test main because it is within this script. Within this JavaScript, I like to create a function here. Right? So now I create a function here. A simple function, say it can be a multiplication function. Let me go with the integer, simple, integer, multiply. I hope multiply is not a native command. I am creating a function now, so multiply. I am doing two integers, a1, comma, integer a2. So this integer, what it does, right? So I am just multiply is an integer, int integer. I just put here multiply equals a1 into a2, right? I am returning the value here. What is the error? Cannot be resolved to a variable. Cannot be resolved to a variable. I have given same name. Yes, that is wrong. That is fine. Float is fine. That is not, this error is not because of that. This error is because of there is a command mistake. Integer, I made it as a multiply, I called it as int a1, a2, then multiply. Right? So, okay, I'll just see what is the mistake. A2 is fine. It says, and method is waiting for a value to return, or you can add a void. You mean to say here, is it? No. Mm, but I don't know. No, this is not it. It is I have to return a value. I have to return a value and return. Yeah. Now I say return int, is it? No. Return. Okay. I just have to use return a equal to a1, a2. Is that okay? Int should be in place. I'll just come back to you. Give me a second. I'll just come back to you. Just let me just give me a second. Give me a second. I'll just come back to you on this. So it is int return. That's it. That is the mistake. I have to use return instead of that. So this is the mistake I did. Anyway, now int multiply int is a simple method inside. Right? So we just make an int, multiply int a1, int a2, that are two integers. If you are talking about a float, you can put a declaration as float, etc. Return a1 into a2. So now this is acting as a method available inside this class javascripting.co. So this method, I like to use it inside the script. You may not require all this, but just for the sake, I'm just giving that information. That's it. Now, I want to now put here multiply. I say now int c equals, right? Multiply bracket a1 10 comma 5, right? So now it is using that so-called whatever we have it as a class method that we have. So we are using that method and right, and this method is now available for you to use. So now I say print log info or system log info, my value of multiplication is, right, C. I'll put it as integer, I capital plus C dot to string, right? So now I just put it, run the script, you can see now the multiplication happens. So this is, when I say method, I need to use the return. The declaration multiply, I have it declared as a int and multiplied with a1 into a2. Let me run the script, see what happens. So this also works. So it has finished the script execution. If you come back over here, excuse me, last portion, my value of multiplication is 50 because we have given two numbers and it is multiplied the value. So this is another way of doing